Hello. So this may be the first in a succession of videos because I've had a friend who's very kindly lent me the iMap PC link cable from Kitaco. Now what this allows you to do is obviously this allows you to plug the iMap into your laptop using software you can download from the Kitaco site, and it allows you ultimately to create your own fuel maps. Now what this should do is it should allow you to release the amount of fuel, more fuel that the engine needs at higher revs, which is going to increase the speed and the engine performance. So I'm hoping at some point we're going to get the engine up to where it was when we had the Polini CDI, and that was doing about maybe 40, 42, 43 miles an hour, which is fine. I mean, I don't expect a 50cc scoot with, my 16 stone weight plus gear and chains and everything else on it to do more than that. I'd be quite happy with that. But at the moment, as you'll know from previous videos, we're really only getting, well, it'll get up to 35, but it's got to be in optimum conditions, and that's on a good day. Normally around high 20s to 30s is as much as we're getting. So the instructions for using the iMap are all available via the Kitaco website. They're in Japanese, but they're also in English, and there's diagrams and things. So it's the first half of it is quite easy. It's when the second half it starts to get more difficult. So what we're going to do now is we're going to go down, plug this in for the first time. This should allow us to copy one of the maps pre-installed on the iMap onto the laptop, and then we can start looking at it and how we can possibly adjust things, and then you save that iMap, your iMap, to a spare channel on the actual unit, which then is the one you use for test riding. So there's basically quite a lot of testing involved. You're going to have to, going to try it, adjust it, or try to adjust it. It's not something you're going to, going to be doing 5 minutes. It's not a nice easy switch we can flip or something like that. But this is the starting process. So I think the important thing in this is, first of all, plug this in. Can the PC find the iMap? Is my iMap actually working? Is it operating? And then copy one of the maps, pre-installed maps, onto the laptop, and then we can start having a look at what's actually there. So we're going to go down, we're going to take the battery box off, plug this into the iMap, take my laptop down as well, and see if we can get anywhere with that. So after that, I'll show you that process, and then it'll probably be subsequent videos when we look at maybe adjusting the fuel ratio, that sort of thing, because I'm not particularly familiar with that. I'm very lucky to have a good friend up in Fife who knows his way around this sort of thing very well, so his help is going to be greatly appreciated. So anyway, time to plug in the iMap. Okay, so the PC link is connected via USB to the laptop, into the spare cable coming out the iMap. Engine is on, and this is the software screen. So what we want to do now is press read, which should copy what the iMap is set at the moment, because as you can see, all these are all 0 at the moment. So let's read and see what happens. Communication device is not connected. That's a good start. Well, that wasn't the best of starts. The lead, although it seemed to be connecting to the laptop, wasn't communicating with the iMap unit in the bike itself. Now, a bit of hunting around on the laptop in the control panel found that we were missing a driver that the lead needed. And this driver was a CP2102 USB plus UART bridge controller. Now that doesn't appear to be on Windows 10. I had Windows 10 hunt for it on the internet, it couldn't find it. So that was missing. So we eventually got a website from a company called Silicon Labs, which I will put a link to in the comments down below, because if you're running Windows 10 you will probably need it. And they have a driver you can download for free which does the job. So downloaded it, immediately it loaded it recognised the iMap lead, everything settled down, sorted out, probably the error messages went, and we were able to try again to plug it into the iMap itself. So having sorted out the issue with the driver, the PC link should now connect to the iMap. So again, we're into USB, connected to the iMap, It's on dip switch 1 at the moment because we just want a general reading to work with. So I'm going to turn the bike on. There we go. Back to this, and we should be able to click on the read button at the top here. And this time we won't get an error message with a bit of luck. There we go. Read complete. Now, interestingly, it doesn't show any values in here, which I assumed it would as it's reading one of the dip switches, but what we think might be the case is actually you just put in the values you want here, and then the bike reads the bike's ECM works until it hits the values you want to increase, and then this takes over. That's what we're assuming. We won't know until we've tried, but as you can see, it's on map number 1, 9,000 RPM, which is the limit of map number 1. We've got this area blocked out here. This is to stop the engine over revving, and then you can input your own. Let's just see here. I'm trying to do this by holding the phone, so we'll do that. It's complete. So you can input your own values from -40 up to +40. So say we just type 40 in there. What you should see is it accepts that. No, it didn't. Hang on a minute. Let's try again. 40. That's it. Or is it? Hold on a second. It did this before, what to write before. Let's try 20 then. Nope, there's 40 there. Right, that's it. You've put in the 40, and straight away you can see a spike on the graph, which indicates, you know, that it's accepting that, and that's the spike in the fuel system. You can also think of a 3D view, which is here. Click that, which shows a 3D map. So this is where we're up to at the moment. What we've got to now do is fill in some of these values to get more fuel at the top revs, and then we upload this map into the iMap unit on the upload channel, which is dip switch 4, and see if it makes any difference. So that's really stage 1 complete. So I'm going to save this to the laptop so we can work away at it, and we'll see how we get on from there. So I hope my rather garbled and badly filmed video made some sense to you and begins to explain what we're trying to do with the iMap and how we're finally making progress with it and starting to see some results, at least in an ability to use it. What we should be able to do now is increase the fuel to the injector by a maximum of 40% at a specific rev and a specific throttle opening position. That's the two areas you can increase the fuel supply from. So at the moment, the Zoomer, I find, goes along pretty well. If you look at the air fuel gauge, it's going along nice in the sweet spot of the air fuel gauge, around about half throttle. When you start to increase the throttle beyond 50%, that's when the needle goes into the lean area, and also that's when you're starting to get to the topmost of its abilities. You're getting to the high 20s, around about 30. Now, what we should be able to do on the iMap is to look at the little boxes, the figures that go past 50% throttle and also above a certain rev limit, and increase those figures. So increase the fuel by 10, 20, 30, 40%, so that when the bike the throttle is being turned, the engine is being supplied with more fuel. And basically that's all the Polini was doing. The Polini was a less subtle way of just chucking loads of fuel into the engine, and that was why it got the bike going faster. So anyway, as I say, the next stage is just to begin to try and program a map out. Then we have to upload it to the iMap itself, and then basically take the bike for a spin and see if it makes any difference. So that will be the next stage. I'm going to get a bit of help from my friend with that, because he's the top man when it comes to FI engines and fuel maps and this sort of thing. So that will probably be in the next week or so. But it's good to see that at least the iMap is working. It's communicating with the laptop. There's no problem there. Now we just need to get it to do what it's supposed to do. It also kind of shows you that if you're going to buy an iMap, you're going to have to buy the PC Link cable with it, because buying the iMap on its own doesn't seem to do anything. So that kind of doubles the price of the whole iMap setup. So I'm still hoping that somebody somewhere out there is going to come up with a cheaper and easier to operate method of improving the performance of these fuel-injected engines. But anyway, that's something for the future and somebody with more brains and more technical ability than I have. So anyway, thanks for watching. I hope it's been of some interest to you and maybe encourage one or two of you who've got an iMap and thought, you know, what the hell's this doing? If you like the video, could you give us a like? That would be great. It just encourages me to keep going. And if you can subscribe, that'd be fantastic. Thanks as always for watching, guys. Ride safe out there, and more iMap fun and games coming shortly.